All right, I'm excited for this one. This video will be called Earthside Orbs, the interface, the payloads, and the language of Mudras. I mapped the blueprints, the cube and the spiral, the six-fold material code, and the seventh ring that lifts us out, the last video. And then I come back down into the realm with you. The floor under our feet, the dome above our heads, and the small lights that move through the air. These are Earthside orbs. They are not soul orbs of the spirit realm. They are the local field constructs, translators, couriers, guardians, scanners. They run on a lattice that is literally tied like a hexagon dome. Remember the dome I talked about earlier? The hex tile work isn't decorative. Hex in its actual form. The near field of our environment is a fractal lattice, six-fold, efficient, repeating the Metatron flower pattern across scale. When a system wants to route energy and attention across that surface, it uses those tiles. These tiles, one fractal, one single full unit, a hex, right? Hex packing is how fields interlock, and the orbs move across that matrix like agents on a honeycomb. So they literally move through the lattice of the grid dome. Picture the orbs on that grid. Some are tiny pinpricks. Some are palm-sized. Each orb is a functioning node. Some act as simple sensors or broadcast points. Others are complex, chameleons that translate signals between levels, messengers carrying compressed payloads of intent. Anchors that lock a local field to a frequency. Library orbs holding planetary memory for later retrieval. There are tens of thousands of these different types of agents. Variants and classes multiplied like software processes. They look like light, but they are patterned work streams. When I say payload, I don't mean drama. I mean an energetic packet, a set of instructions, an imprint, a resonance code. Payloads ride inside the orbs. Delivered to a target, a payload can be a gentle field tweak that nudges local resonance, or a stored datum a library orb will keep for later. Payloads can recalibrate a tile, or they can be heavier charges that shift attention or priority on the grid. The key, these lights are not random glows, they are packets in motion. People have learned to talk to these orbs. Some use mudras, simple, disciplined gestures coupled to an internal mood, and get consistent visual replies. Channels like Pet UFOology, nice little call out there for you, sister, have shown what sustained practice looks like. Gesture, orb response, refined gesture. Over months you tune a loop, mudra, orb reply, decode, reply back. That loop is all communication needs. The orb becomes a translator and a dialogue emerges. So this specific one right here, she's been doing these mudras with them and communicating, and they would shine back different colors and different things, and she would do different mudras with it and then translate what that was and keep communicating. And the other night it turned into this, and this was not in any classification I had, so we had to create a new one. I call one pattern contact chameleon because it describes the behavior. Adaptive, translating, persistent. A contact chameleon shifts color, shape, and timing to map to human perceptible states. Lost my spot. And can hold a dialogue over time. It is terrestrial. It interfaces with realms, tools, and cameras. It's not a soul orb, it's an interface between us and the local field. These local orbs don't operate alone. They are nodes in a choreography that uses the hex dome as its routing fabric. Some are builders laying coherence. Some are recyclers, dissolving obsolete calibrations. Some are nursery orbs, ferrying small consciousness packets. Some are recorders indexing planetary memory. Think of them as microservices in a distributed system, each tuned to a function, each part of a larger orchestration. Because I want to be precise, let me put anatomy in plain language. So let's talk about the anatomy of an actual orb. How's it work? The shell is the phase boundary. The shell is the visible rim that scatters light. It's not solid. It's phase boundary where orb's field meets the local environment. A thicker shell generally means longer phase life, a greater persistence. Buffer, the shock absorber. Inside the shell is a buffer field, a soft zone that smooths interactions with the local. It prevents sudden phase jumps and preserves coherence during transmit. The core, the information resonance. That's the inner ordered pattern the data and intent store. For Earthside orbs, this usually holds the code, instructions, payload metadata, temporal anchors. For soul orbs, the core contains identity resonance, memory, continuity, subjective awareness platform or patterns. The trail, the resonance trail, as an orb travels, it leaves a faint imprint, a string of phase shifts used for routing and later retrieval. How that shows up in the in payloads, because that's where people get worried and where clarity matters most. Payloads are packets, phase resonant bundles of structure, not material objects. Practical payload types include calibration tone payloads. They're small field tuners used to synchronize tiles or re-anchor local mode. Data memory payloads compress records stored by library orbs for later retrieval. Instruction intent payloads. These are short programs that subtly shift a target field's parameters. Attention nudges for us. Gate timing, priority changes. This is how they're controlling what we want to see, what we want to do. It's directing our attention. Physics payloads, the interference patterns used to see tiny local environments local environment shifts. So dampening noise, opening small phase windows, and then consciousness payloads. These are the blueprint carriers. This is the special complicated case, a packet that encodes a pattern resembling a conscious structure, like the chameleon. When I say conscious payload, I mean several possible things, and I'll be blunt about each. Encoded template, a blueprint of a persona, an actual person, a role, a pattern that can be instantiated as a short-lived process, like a puppet or avatar. Fragment of continuity, a small portion of memory or identity snapped from a larger field and moved for safekeeping or transfer. Transient micro-consciousness, rare cases where an orb carries a semi-autonomous field with subjective processes. Nursery orbs fearing newly formed awareness fall into this category. Proxy agent consciousness, an interface program acting on behalf of a larger mind, a delegated task agent from a guide or system. Important clarifications about consciousness and payloads. This is not the same as a soul orb, so don't mix these two up. If you see a tiny intelligence riding a mote of light, that doesn't automatically mean it's a person soul like a Merkaba. It's often a template, an agent, or a delegated process. Functional, usually time limited. Sometimes fragments can be reintegrated through the spirit world procedures. Sometimes fragments are archived or used as proxy. All of that is possible, but it is not the same as full continuity of self. I guess we'll stop here and we're going to go ahead and pick up on part 2. This is where it's going to get crazy. Oh, if it hasn't already. See you on part 2. Have a great day. Namaste.